Long live the king, Donald Trump. He's the only one that can bring world peace, secure our border, bring America the best economy it's ever had in the history of the world. Long live the king. Listen to Tucker tell the truth about what Zelensky really is. He's a criminal, a communist, a dictator, and Satan. He is evil. Zelensky, he's not a president. He's a puppet put there by the elite for the money laundering scheme that they were carrying out. Let's listen to Tucker Carlson tell it how it is.
Feature of a dictator is he's not elected. So Zelensky's not elected. He's also, he's banned a religious denomination. He's murdered his political opponents. He has banned a language group. Those all seem like features of dictatorship to me. Now, he has the support of the British intelligence agencies. That doesn't mean he's not a dictator, though. That sounds like a dictator. I mean, if I just gave you a piece of paper and I'm like, here are some qualities of a European leader, you would say, well, that guy, that's not legitimate. That guy's a dictator. I can't support that. But his name's Zelensky, and he was once a comedian, and he does my show, so he's not a dictator. I think it's a dictator.
That's too much facts and logic for the secret liberal Piers Morgan, who he's always Piers Morgan is anti-American. He tries to act like he's a moderate, but he's not. He's not in the middle. He's an ultra-liberal. Now you have Donald Trump telling the American media what Zelensky really is. And of course, liberals melt down and cry and lose their minds because they're absolutely insane.
Hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal, is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, or essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. So many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, when they want a seat at the table, you could say wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also.
So if you're a so-called president that bans elections, bans religion, bans people getting together, something to do with language, what are you then? You're a dictator. You're garbage. And that's what Zelensky is. And that's what Trump's trying to tell you. That Zelensky is running the country, running Ukraine with martial law. Because he wants to he's a dictator. That's what he is. And anybody that has common sense that's paying attention knows that he needs to be removed from office. Let's watch Zelensky doing some cocaine like he always does. That's all he does is sniff cocaine, steal money from American taxpayers.
Really, the question is to survive. The question is to save Ukraine, our independence, our people, our homes. And if somebody doesn't like, they can choose another citizenship if they want. They have real estate.
Mm-hmm. Did you
somewhere.
say what? Real estate?
Yeah. For today.
What happens when you do cocaine? You get trillions of dollars in U.S. aid and you go buy mansions, boats, and cocaine. Go figure. J.D. Vance warns Zelensky he will regret bad-mouthing Trump and condemns his atrocious response to peace talks. J.D. Vance warns Zelensky that bad-mouthing Trump is an incredibly bad move and that Trump's remarks were not made based on Russian disinformation, but informed intelligence. Zelensky was given too much leeway by the previous administration, in which he was able to walk all over Biden to get what he wanted. The idea that Zelensky is going to change the president's mind by bad-mouthing him in public media, everyone knows the president will tell you that is an atrocious way to deal with this administration. We obviously love the Ukrainian people. We admire the bravery of the soldiers, but we obviously think that this war needs to come to a rapid close. That is the policy of the President of the United States. It is not based on Russian disinformation. It's based on the fact that Donald Trump, I think, knows a lot about geopolitics and has a very strong view and has a strong view for a very long time. You know what's amazing? Only a psychopath would want a war to continue. And Trump saying, I want this war to be over. Enough people have died. We've spent enough money. Enough is enough already. They put an adult in the room. The American voters and citizens put an adult in the room to take charge. And he's taking charge and he's telling both sides enough already. And maniac liberals and Democrats are attacking Donald Trump. Here, I have an idea for all the Democrats that don't like this idea. Have your kid join the military and we'll send them over and your kids can fight for Ukraine. I'm sure if that was to happen or if that was a law, all of a sudden your stance would change real fast and you'd be the coward Democrat liberal that you truly are. Let's listen to Bernie Sanders, the most corrupt politician in America who takes millions of dollars from corporations and sponsorships so he doesn't have to work and be the spineless weasel piece of crap that he really is. Let's listen to Bernie preach to all the Trump voters.
I would say to Trump supporters are two things. Focus not on what Trump says, but what he does. And what he's going to do is cut programs that you and your families need. Do you really think it's appropriate to cut Medicaid substantially? Those are families, your families, may not be able to get the health care that they need.
Give me a break.
Your mother may not be able to get into the nursing home that she has to get into because Medicaid pays a substantial part of that. We're going to do away with aid to students who want to go to college. You're going to have, your kids are going to have to go more deeply into debt when we cut back on higher.
Bernie, you're forgetting one important piece of detail here. The most important part. He's banning it for illegals, not American citizens, you idiot, you moron. Mr. Corruption himself, I don't take money from special interest groups. Meanwhile, the most amount of donations and bribes and money from special interest groups. But let Bernie preach to us because Bernie knows.
Educational programs. So the other thing that I would say is that if you are an honest conservative,
okay,
you believe in the Constitution of the United States, you do not believe that the richest guy in the history,
coming from the parasite that's never worked a day in his life, started politics, he was making 80 grand a year, now he's worth up to $50 million. Yeah, Mr. Corruption himself is preaching to us about being honest conservatives. Go F yourself, Bernie.
In modern history, can go around unilaterally cutting programs that were authorized by Congress. So if you're a Trump supporter and you're a working class person, understand that they're going after you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And if you believe in the Constitution and democracy, they're also trying to undermine that.
Right. Bernie Sanders, biggest weasel, spineless, corrupt coward to ever walk the planet. Or the Bernie bros, you know, nobody should have to work, dude. Let's just all stay home and smoke pot and collect welfare, man. What a life. When RFK was like, what are you talking about, Bernie? You get the most amount of bribes and money from any person in the room. No. Yeah, okay. Scum. So according to Forbes, Elon said he will ask President Trump about sending $5,000 checks to all Americans, and he will. There's no doubt we should all be getting more money than that, but I'll take five grand to start. All the money that's been wasted by Democrats and stolen by Democrats and sent all over the world by communist, corrupt Democrats and Joe Biden and the Biden crime machine. Yeah, I'll take the 5 grand. We all know Trump's going to give us the money. And Doge is going to save the government so much money that Elon is going to send out checks every couple of months to the American taxpayer and American citizens. And that's the way our government should work. The government should work for you. I'm sure you've all seen by now the millions and millions of people that are getting Social Security that are dead. There's people on the Social Security roll that are 150 years of age, 120 years of age, 200 years of age. There's millions of them. Millions, not 100, not an honest mistake, 50 people, 20 people, millions upon millions of people are getting Social Security right now, and they're not even real people. They're not even alive. And everybody, it's of course Democrats. No, it's not. The checks are being sent out by corrupt Democrats to their friends, to their dead people, to people overseas, to illegals. It sounds like the typical, you know why Democrats have to do this? Because they have to pay their voting base. And this is who their voting base is. Dead people, illegals, criminals, convicts, communists, people from other countries. So they don't want this to stop. Democrats laugh at the working man. You know why? We go to work to pay taxes, and then they take all our money from our check, and they use that money as a fund to pay for all their criminal, illegal activity. God bless Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the king, and only the king will be able to save America.